this morning I was watching a dad talking about his child who was freezing cold and didn't have enough food and died. And then I was reading an account from somebody else who came outside their tent and found a child who was squatting underneath a truck or a car or a van or something like that. And they said, what's happened? And he was saying that his whole family had been martyred and he was waiting, hoping that no one would see him under the truck so that he could join his family, like literally so that he would be run over and die. And so he took this little kid to a medical tent and he died from the cold anyway. Have you ever seen so much evidence of so much wrongdoing where you don't know what to post because you'll be there all day posting stuff? So apparently there's a video going around. It hasn't come across my page yet, but I've seen stills from it where Israel got this guy, Palestinian guy, and they blindfolded him. And then they let him go and they told him to walk forward towards where there were Palestinian, I think, medics or something. And he's blindfolded and he has to walk forward and just kind of try and make it to there. And then they just shot him in the head. Anyway, they released him blindfolded and then shot him in the head. They're enjoying it. You understand? A lot of them are enjoying this. Did you know that apparently in the West Bank there are these battalions of people who are apparently just settlers who just act like the police? I'm quoting somebody there. And they actually went to somebody's home and arrested them. It's like legitimately you can just like form a battalion and be a vigilante who hates Arabs and nothing will happen to you. Nothing will happen. They went into this artist's home and they took his laptops, his cameras and his money. I mean, basically it's just an excuse like pre-house theft. I guarantee he's going to lose that home really fast. And they stole all his shit and then dropped him off at the police station, blindfolded with plastic handcuffs on. I don't know about you, but every few days I see another post about Hind and I absolutely lose it. The only thing that makes me feel bad is it shouldn't be about one girl, it should be about all of them. And it is, but that was just... She always reminds me of the girl in the red coat in Schindler's List, who you see running around at a certain point in the film, but by the end when they've killed everyone and she's just obviously she's dead and you just have this bright red coat and that's what I think of when I think of Hind. I think of the girl in the red coat. She looks a lot like Georgie. A lot like Georgie, which makes it worse. Again, it's not up to us to forgive people because it's not something that's happened to us. It's not us to give forgiveness, but I would never forgive them. None of them. Not at all. My fear at the moment, right, is that they know that they know they're guilty of genocide. They know that they're guilty of mass transportation of people and that they're trying to ethnically cleanse them from their land. And I think with the number that they have killed, I think there's a horrible chance that they just think, how much more trouble can we be in? We might as well just go for it. Because, you know, we've gone so far. We've gone far enough to be held accountable. Then we might as well let's just go for it. Because it beggars belief, some of these things. And they're so public about it. It's just, that's all I can think is that they're just past caring at this point. They don't care. You can't reason with any of them. Excuse me, eating in the car. But I think even a guilty verdict would not dismantle the occupation. It wouldn't dismantle the apartheid. I think America and Britain needs to be dragged into this lawsuit. About, God, how long? Maybe 17, 18 years ago, I managed to get a court order of a certain type against the guy who ran a business next to my house. And it had taken 9 years to get the council to take this man to court. And the reason it took 9 years is clearly money was changing hands. And it took so long with evidence, and they just weren't dealing with this person. And eventually what I had to do is get so much evidence and word my presentation of this evidence to them in such a way that they knew that they were going to get in trouble over it. That I could prove that they would be in trouble over it. And then it was save yourself. It was save yourself. That's what it took to get them to do what they were supposed to do. And this is on a completely minor scale, but a similar thing where you're kind of beholden to people that you've taken money from. And eventually it obviously just became far more dangerous for their reputations if I did what I said I was going to do, which is send it all to the papers unless they dealt with it. And they dealt with it, and they prosecuted the person that they were kind of in bed with. I won't mention which council it is because, you know, I don't need to be prosecuted for, well, I mean, you know, try and take me to court because I still got the evidence. Anyway, that is what I think it's going to take for Britain and America. It's going to take it being worse for them. It's going to take prosecuting them for aiding in a genocide. They need to sever ties. There needs to be laws where it's illegal to take foreign money if you're a British politician. At the moment, they're not going to pass a law like that because they're benefiting from it, but it needs to happen. And people need to be made uncomfortable and accountable. Otherwise, it won't change. But I still have high hopes that Israel will just kind of destroy itself from the inside. That their ugly nature will just eventually, they'll do it to themselves. You know how it's difficult to post something happy at the moment because there's a genocide unfolding in front of our eyes. And then I get shown Drew Barrymore, who was telling us that when she's having an off day, she just gets her gratitude journal out and a puzzle, and now she's feeling much better. Well, good for you, Drew. Holy my Lord, and at the end she says, life is wonderful. Do you know what? While people are going through a genocide, even though it is not involving me, life is not wonderful. My life is not wonderful when other people are being blown up and killed. An entire family lines being wiped out. There's not a part of my life that is like my life as a whole is not wonderful, and I don't think it can be wonderful while this is going on. But yay, Drew! Yeah, little picket line breaker.